See if Splyce end up taking anything away from your series there. Now, guys, if you have any questions to ask Inori, Zirene, or myself, you can send those jungle-related questions, or just about any if you want to know what are days like, that kind of thing. Send them on Twitter, hashtag AskTheCasters at LoL Esports. We'll answer them in-game. But for now, we're in the picks and bans, and speaking of jungle, that pool's getting real shallow.
Yeah, heavily prioritized here, and both teams know that you have to kind of pinch that pool. RekSai is still there, so TSM will probably have to ban RekSai. So if I'm Splyce, I don't ban Syndra here.
Yeah, definitely getting rid of these junglers.
Yeah, you ban the counter. Yep. Now, you either ban Syndra and you give up RekSai, or you ban RekSai and you give up Syndra, or you leave both up. And then you probably get RekSai, because they'll take Syndra.
Man, those little mind games that you can do in the pick and ban phase.
I absolutely love the pick ban phase, personally. Like, if I wasn't a commentator, I'd want to be a coach, because I feel like there's so many little mind games you can play here, and this is just becomes easy. RekSai, lock it in.
Yep. Start knocking off the names on the board, and well, I'll be curious to see what they answer with on the side of TSM, but Trashy definitely very comfortable on that RekSai.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Skarner. Ha. All right. We've had a few of them. Inori, tell me a little bit more about Skarner and what you think of him right now at this World's meta.
I actually played him this morning just for fun, and he's really good into melees. I actually played this matchup too. It's just there's very little RekSai can really do to out-punish him. Like, if he's on a Schreier, even when he's not on it, he can actually just destroy you. So 1v1 presence, he has it, and then his ulti is such a good utility spell. I definitely see the power here. He picked those out hesitation. This is definitely something they practice a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I've really been playing in the jungle right now is Skarner and RekSai. Not super mechanically good. I can just hit my Q key over and over again and run at people. But
you can talk about this game.
Yeah, but basically the way that Skarner operates is you have so many stats when you're just on those shards, and you can contest them so easily. You run in, you stand on it. It's so quick to cap. If you just cap it, the guy's doing his Raptor camp, it's like, now you just get to beat the crap out of him. Even if he was wailing on you a little bit, then it's really hard for RekSai to do anything. I think Graves is also another one that can't even chase you. And that's his whole thing, is like, I have to be faster than you, I have to be able to keep up. But Skarner's just a race car.
Yeah. So what kind of comp do you build around this guy? I mean, we're going to see a few lock-ins here. You've got the Rumble, you've got the Jhin. Obviously some speed boost from Karma, but does this look about right to you, Inori?
I think just the Karma was good enough. You don't need to build anything around him. He's this kit. His kit kind of just suits itself. Just having a shield, a speed up, allows him to get in there, get his ulti off, and that's really his only job. He gets in there, flash ultis, pulls him back, and by having the speed buff, he has what he needs. And the Jhin is just going to be a good setup tool as well. Like, they're out of position, you just set up that ulti, start pushing him down.
Yeah, and I think that one of the good things about Skarner is not only is his clear time really high, he's constantly getting mana back from being on the shards. He's actually restoring % of his mana back. So when you're hitting your W on cooldown, when you're clearing camps, like, you aren't taking any damage. So he's always able to contest. He's always at about 3/4 HP in the jungle. So if you are getting anywhere close to low, then 100% he can invade. And I feel like this with the Karma, and just speed up, grab somebody, nab them. And that's why you're seeing a little bit more mobility coming out from Splyce, and a little bit of, with the Malzahar, I think it's a really good pick here, because they're just blind picking. It's good. It's left up. Cassio is still on the table, though.
Yeah, but they can also neutralize that Skarner, too. If he starts barreling at you, you can stop him really quick and try to take him out before he, grabs somebody else, lines him up for the Jhin ulti.
Yeah, and right here, though, I actually think TSM go Cassiopeia last pick, because this is the combination, is the Rumble ultimate comes down, you Cassiopeia ground the people on top of it, and you Jhin ulti to open. So it's Jhin ulti to open, to slow some people, throw down the Rumble ulti, and then Cassio on top of it. And
nasty.
It's really dirty.
That's going to be a hell of a team fight. TSM definitely taking their time to think it over, though.
I think they also can go Zyles or pick 2 if they want. It's just...
And flex the Karma.
Yeah. It's like 50-50 on both. But, like, yeah, what you're saying, the grounded mechanic helps them so much to set up that CC.
All right, so that's what they take. TSM's going to have a hell of a team fight. We'll see how they utilize it. And on Splyce's side, this is some comfort picks for them as well, though. Nami, the Ezreal, that stuff aside, I mean, Sencux was one of the first to start picking Malzahar in the European LCS, and Trashy, he joked about being a RekSai one-trick a little while back. Yeah, he picked up quite a lot of different stuff, but this has been his bread and butter champion all split.
Yeah, even back when he first joined, he was on H2K Challenger, back when it was Cloud9, Tempest.
Yeah, you got to rewind the clock for that one.
Yeah, Cloud9 Eclipse, and oh man, he came over here and played on Enemy Esports. And it was just always RekSai, over and over and over again. He's very practiced on that champion. I don't know how much he's going to be able to do against Svenskeren and Bjergsen as a combination, but he has hard CC early in the game on his side.
Yeah, and he's the more experienced player on this Splyce lineup. Everyone talks about them being, rookies and new guys, young kids on the block and all that stuff, but they've had Trashy, who's kind of this like calming voice out of like all of them, and you compare him to someone like Svenskeren, who's gotten this a little bit of time under his belt to fit in TSM. I think it's an interesting matchup. What do you guys make of how how that might affect the way Splyce is going to approach this game early on, anyways?
Like you were saying, like putting pressure on shot callers is incredibly important, but I don't think it's going to really affect Svenskeren too much no matter what happens. I feel like he's a very calm person, and he's actually learned a lot about how to allocate himself and give resources to his lanes. But for Trashy, up against Svenskeren, I actually don't know how much it'll affect him. I know that he has played against him before. They're both Danish. They both go way back. Maybe even like looked up to him at some point. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to know, but that would be the only thing I could see like really weighing on Trashy and changing the way he approaches it in a negative way.
Yeah, I think just keep strong mentality for Trashy. I think Svenskeren's looking really good this tournament. I think he has a lot of confidence to back up his performance right now, so I don't see him tilting too much. I would be worried for Trashy if especially against a Skarner. It's always like unusual champions that tilt you the most. So if I'm getting behind as a Skarner or RekSai against a Skarner, I'll be worried.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But there is the comfort difference, right? Trashy's played maybe not this match out specifically, but he's played a lot of RekSai. He knows pathing, and I wanted to ask you, Inori, a little bit about it because we saw a fair amount of RekSai yesterday, although there was some bans in there as well. Early pathing against somebody like Skarner, where does he look to go?
Obviously, you don't need blue, right? So we're going to consider giving this blue up to Malzahar, snowball the mid lane matchup. It's one of the main power points of RekSai is his non-reliant on blue buff allows him to pass it over to mid lane to give him that lane the big edge. And RekSai will just start on Gromp, skip blue, do woes, pad to red side, and then pads right back. Just guaranteeing that blue mid would be the primary objective early on. And then we've seen earlier what I think it was Splyce maybe, they invaded late to prevent this blue from being passed on, which is a huge thing, and I think you must do this in some matchups to prevent the mid lane from snowballing. It was that one blue buff.
All right, as we see the early start too, some help out on the Krugs and on the Gromp, and now let's turn to Twitter really quick as this game gets underway. @KillGoldfish asks on Twitter, how does the Skarner pick change the warding that Splyce should do?
Ooh, actually, I don't think it does. It's not something like an Elise or a Rengar that makes you, or sorry, an Evelynn or a Rengar that makes you change the way that you ward.
It's a little more visible.
Or a Zac. Yeah, this thing, he just runs straight at you. So I feel like standard wards pretty much do it for you. You should be warding like Raptor camps, warding your sides. Nothing different at all.
How about predictive pathing? Because obviously Skarner has his minigame. You're always going to want to be finding his pillars. I mean, how valuable is it to try and keep those on your side of the map for the enemy team, Skarner?
I actually do want to point something out, though, just about the Skarner. I don't actually like the machete start. I feel like you start Talisman here, 100%. Because when you're hitting these things, you're just getting way more HP back. You shouldn't actually be this low. Your first clear is much healthier than this. Random aside.
No, but that's interesting, though, too. I mean, we've seen a couple of Skarners.
That's my thoughts. What do you think?
I start Talisman as well.
Yeah.
I feel like Talisman just ups your damage more, because when you have a Q-Stem ability that's AoE, it's just more reliable to just start the AoE one.
Yeah.
I do it on Hecarim too, and I kind of see Skarner and Hecarim same skill set. So, yeah, I don't think Machete's right. When I start Machete on most champs, I'm always considering the benefits of being a faster clearer, because that's the downside is less HP. So, I really would have to benefit from a faster clearer. But on Skarner, I'm kind of just power farming anyways. I don't have power spikes for ganks, so I would just go for the healthier jungler item start and just power farm it.
Alrighty then.
And what were you saying, Pira?
Oh, talking about the mini game. No, it's all right. Whenever there's a Skarner in the game, the pillars that appear.
Oh yeah.
Is it how important is it for the Skarner and for the enemy team to try and keep those under their own control?
It's very important for the Skarner to actually have them on objectives, and I think that the enemy team, the biggest thing for me is I feel like it's a safe zone, and also I know if the enemy is going to be doing an objective. So I sometimes will invade on the Skarner, and it takes an extra second or two, slows down his jungle path because he's so damn fast anyway. But I feel like it's always just good to have them on your side. I don't know how far you go out of your way for it, but I just think it's way better to have it than not.
Yeah, a bit like the Kindred marks, right? You want to be able to get them. They're very telegraphed where they are, and this is a really nice invade.
This is really good because
Yeah.
now this blue is preventable. It's just not allowing the Malzahar to get this as primary objective. They're contesting it right now. It's just how you should play it when you're against the RekSai, because you really do not want the mouse to get this. It really affects the lane a lot. So this is something they're prioritizing.
Oh, that's perfect too. Holy wow.
It's the ideal situation. See, I think teams really, when they have RekSai, they don't prioritize it enough. Oh shit! Oh.
Yeah, that's a lot of flashes. Okay.
Oh, the counter
Mikyx
kill
got first blood off of that, but yeah, you got counter kill, trade 1 for 1 on the map.
Yeah, bottom one's worth way more.
Svenskeren? Yeah, I mean, he was like a smidgen later.
I think he just got 1v1 top somehow. Like,
yeah, top die.
I don't know how that happened. I think he was trying to rotate and he got caught out.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because that's a matchup you should be winning against Kennen. You should not give a kill up that early.
Yeah, it did look like Hauntzer got a really good flash and maybe an auto attack in there when overheated.
Yeah.
But there wasn't even an assist on it, you're right.
That's kind of unfortunate for
I'd
him.
love to see it again as well.
Yeah.
Gives the teleport advantage as well to Hauntzer for a little while now.
Yeah, and this is perfect from Sven. Go gank it. There's no flash here. Hit an E. Oh, okay.
Real close. The lightning rush, but Sven's still on it right now. I don't think he's going to be able to get much more than a bit of chip damage.
Yeah, you have to land that E if you're Skarner, and I actually think you hold it until you're really close to him in that case because he doesn't have flash. Because once you get that on them and then you can stun them, it's kind of game over.
Okay, Trashy's coming in here. See if he can stop this back from Svenskeren. Nope, he stops it himself in the overheat. Trashy's coming in, tags his way, gets the flash on Burrow, and that is going to be Hauntzer picked up as Wunder finishes the kill.
Yeah, didn't know that Trashy was there, so Trashy actually had a really good pathing around, and Skarner wanted it back.
So should Sven have kind of like moved out a little bit forward, or is there really nothing you can do to react to that? It looked like he was behind the 8 ball.
No, I think that's Hauntzer's fault. Like, Hauntzer was just being greedy overall because he still had his teleport. They went for a gank onto Wunder and pushed him out. And then I think he was just trying to freeze the wave with lower combat stats. He just got punished for that, and I think it's just an overstep.
Here's what you guys were asking for again with wandering.
He wanted to go help the blue. That's what it is. So he has to walk back through the rumble.
Ooh,
and he didn't think he was going to have to flash, or else he would have flashed over the left wall.
I think this is a misplay, though. Like, you definitely know he's going to flash on you, and he just flashes.
He gets the auto.
Way too late. And
yeah.
Sven was there for moral support, though. That's important.
Yeah. Also think Deathfire Touch got that last little bit.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, he was just greedy with his summoner spells. I feel like that just happened to both of them. Like, Wunder didn't want to flash, and Hauntzer didn't want to have to back and TP. So, greedy top laners, man. They make the jungler's life so hard.
Yeah. It's definitely the case. I mean, you want to hang around mid. We talked about this earlier on in the game, right? You want to be focusing, especially a mid laner like Bjergsen, who's going to put out a lot of pressure early on in the game. I mean, what do you do when you have to split your focus, Inori?
So I just want to talk about the blue buff thing. I still think it's so important. Like, you're RekSai, you should be giving that blue up to your mid laner.
Today.
And it's like, why do you let the enemy team invade it? Like, it's so telegraphed, like it happened last game. Like, Splyce literally did it to another team, and I'm like, why not just do that camp early on and just give it to your mid laner to scare it? Because it's such an important thing for your mid laner to get, and literally giving it to the enemy mid laner seems so counterproductive. But yeah, what were you saying again? Sorry.
He was asking about mid lane as well.
Yeah, mid lane.
As Trashy ults his way up to Svenskeren, clearing the... Well, basically, if you have somebody like Bjergsen who has to focus really, really hard on, or he's just focusing on pushing the wave like all the time, trying to keep Sencux pushed back. It's why he was able to get in there for the blue buff. And then you have your top laner kind of getting just murdered a couple of times, and you need to like split your attention. Like, where do you prioritize? Is it very dependent on your team?
You kind of have to look at the lane situations. Like, Malzahar can't really pressure cast, honestly. That lane is literally like in Bjergsen's hand. Especially when you get blue buff handed over to you, it's like you don't really have to pressure. You just have to be in the area.
Yeah, like right now, if I'm Svenskeren, I know my blue buff is coming up, so it's kind of a problem that I have to go to the bottom side of the map. But I would totally go top right now, and I would flash Impale them. Because you already have a pink ward in that Tri-Brush, and Wunder is almost trying to prevent a freeze in the top lane right now. And he's pushing it up, so Hauntzer actually has a little bit of an advantage right now.
I think I would be scared to go top right now just because of the situation. I would rather prefer mid lane pressure. It seems hard against Malz, but I actually personally think you can just get on top of Malz with like 1Q and just hit him with the R right after and just pull him in for like, if he gets grounded, he really is dead 100%.
Oh, also something really cool with Skarner that you can do is if you do get up in somebody's face like that and it's just because you're a race car and you speed at them, you should... For a Malzahar, it's definitely Q, E, and then R. Because if you hit them with an E ahead of time, as soon as they come out of your R, you auto-attack them, and then they get stunned.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good chain of CC that you can do, and a lot of the times you can actually get that auto-attack off, and they flash, and then they'll flash and they're stunned. So it's actually kind of BS sometimes. You're just like, how is that possible?
There's a lot of interactions like that in League. Get those. And speaking of interactions, junglers look like they're about to meet up fairly close to mid. Svenskeren is not quite there yet, but Sencux has backup. Bjergsen a little low on mana, but he's got blue.
Yeah, now
so it's all right.
Now you go towards the bottom side of the map. Because you just saw that RekSai was on the top. You have nothing really to gain over there. And I'm actually really surprised that Svenskeren does not go for any of these river shards at all.
I think he doesn't want to give his position away just yet. He doesn't. If he knows for sure, like he's bought, they might counter pressure top or a dive.
Yeah.
So he wants to make sure the RekSai still is iffy about if he went back or not.
Yeah. But Hauntzer saw that RekSai took this one over here, so he should know.
He forces that flash. I mean, it was easy peasy. He walked right through the pink, and he still got the flash out of Hauntzer.
Yeah, it's because like the matchup is so hard for Rumble. Like if you get hit by one CC, they have so much CC together that you will get instantly like destroyed.
Yeah, you'll get double stunned by Kennen.
You have to be really like cautious. You do not want to give up another kill in this matchup. You have to be really safe. Maybe Skarner can change the tides here if he can get a kill off. It looks not so bad, but
all right.
Yeah.
You have to be really safe in this lane because if they show Kennen ulti is ridiculous. Like in 2v2s, you're not gonna win. Like it's just too hard because you're both getting stunned together, and they just focus one target while you guys are CC'd. So it's really difficult to win 2v2s top. That's why he's trying to stray away from it and focus around mid lane because mid lane is a guaranteed like 2v2 win. So he's just gonna ulti the wave and like be gone. You don't want to fight that. Like
I mean, he saw this RekSai pretty early on. The Kennen came out at the end. Is there another pick that you would have chosen for Hauntzer in this situation? Like, or is he just going to have to survive until those mid-game team fights?
I think his pick is perfectly fine. You don't really need to change. It's just you have to change your pressure areas because you can't have all winning lane. Actually, you can if you draft really well, but most of the time you're going to have some winning lanes and then you're going to have some priorities and some like weaknesses. I think you just have to take it slow on top lane, let it scale. Like once he gets some levels in and items, like that lane will be a lot easier. So he just needs to take it slow and focus around mid lane. Once you get mid lane advantages, you can translate that into more like top lane times. I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. All right.
This is so weird. Like when I'm watching Svenskeren, like even when they know where he is, like he never takes any of these shards.
Yeah.
It's so strange. He's just so paranoid about giving away his position. Like he's not even taking tunnels in the RekSai's jungle. He's walking over them, which, you know, if they're looking, you see the rocks kick up even in Fog of War. But it just seems like he values so highly that they don't know exactly where he is. Because this one that Trashy's on right now, that shard has been his for a while. Like that Raptor camp got cleared out in a suboptimal time because Svenskeren didn't even decide to step on it for a second and get that advantage.
Okay, Trashy's
You can actually kill him here. He has no E up.
Yeah, he's a little low on the health
he
bar.
He doesn't have ulti, never mind. He can
the Kennen's coming though, and yeah, Hauntzer's not going to chase for that. He knows exactly what's up, so they're going to control that push.
It's good to chunk him out. Now you give time for Svenskeren to actually go down towards the bottom side, maybe make a play down here. If he runs straight through, he does have flash.
Yeah, they're pinging straight forward. So open up the curtain call. Kobbe, Mikyx, Biofrost flashes over the wave, and there we go. Just drags Mikyx right back into it. They're going to be able to take him down, but there's a teleport coming in here. Exhaust is on double TP. Okay, Wunder's coming in, but so far it is just the 1 for 0, but they find Biofrost and take him down, evening it out.
Bjergsen's here. Bjergsen does have flash and ultimate.
Yep, and he uses it. Okay, so down goes Wunder. 1 for 2 in favor of TSM, and it was all started off of Svenskeren doing the very basic Skarner maneuver.
I think he should have just got greedy and flashed right away. He kind of waited for the Nami to flash, and he took a lot more tower hits. I knew his mindset. He thought he could kind of get them while he was rooted, but that really set them behind in that. I think they could have got the kill fast and not give up a kill, but then again, it was still really good for them.
So it worked out well for TSM. We'll take a look at the start of it because he ran right through the scuttle buff. And Kobbe and Mikyx here.
Yeah, this is good for Mikyx because he has to throw it that way and interrupt double lift. Right there, like right there. Flash, get him.
He took like 3 other tower hits.
Yeah, like there you flash E and then R him and pull him. So like even if he flashes away, you still have a stun on him and it's fine.
Yeah, and the race car's out of there.
Yeah.
So it, you know, it was maybe not been the cleanest, but it did work out pretty solid. But Trashy, look at this. He's just able to get in right on top of him, and then they finish the job. So it's really active all over the map, but you can see that they're all these plays are being set up, or at least the junglers are hanging around. It seems like they really are controlling the tempo of this matchup.
What do you think of Warrior Zirene on Skarner?
Okay, so I play a decent amount of Skarner now, and when I look at people's like pro builds, I see like Jankos was one of the first people who was doing it every single time, and now almost everybody's doing Warriors on Skarner. And I don't know. I don't really like it too much. I like the Trinity Force Rush. Don't know how valuable that is in competitive, but I like Trinity Force Rush into Cinderhulk personally, because I feel like once you start getting ahead, and you usually do when you have like a Sheen and you're like busting people up, then you just need tankiness to stay ahead. And even if you mess up, like, you're not completely punished.
So what's the point at which the RekSai's tankiness like falls off relative to somebody like Skarner, even when they're not running as Hauntzer goes down, even when they're not running Warrior?
That's 2 down, right?
His tankiness.
Oh wait, no, that's 1.
Well, RekSai, he doesn't really have shielding. Shielding just adds to tankiness. He has more self-healing, which is a kind of like different way to stay real healthy. So he can stay fairly healthy, but Skarner with his shielding can always stay healthier than a RekSai tank. They go full tank each. But actually, my preferred build is to go Runic Echo on Skarner. He has a lot of AP scaling, and I think his whole job as his kit is just to get movement speed too.
So right there, if we go back, I'd actually love to see that again, because he's clearing underneath turret, and there's an opportunity here for him to do something pretty cute, because Skarner's E, the way it works, is if you hit that target, it acts as if it is one of your shards, so you get bonus movement speed and attack speed. People don't expect that. So when he E'd through the minions and Kennen, what you do is you hit the minion, you W, you rush at Kennen, you can R him, and then auto-attack him afterwards, and even get a decent amount of damage there, possibly force him back. Don't know if he had kill pressure, but with the Warriors, I think it's something that he may have been able to actually accomplish.
Yeah, so you see one.
I like taking those risks.
But yeah, like instantly they're pinging that the RekSai is coming here. So
yeah,
I mean, Hauntzer, he might have just been 1v1'd anyways.
Yeah,
like that was a split-second assist, but all the same, like, it does seem like Trashy's pretty much everywhere he needs to be, and this is so characteristic of how Splyce play this out. Now Svenskeren's got to be in trouble. He's not been able to invade as reliably as we've come to expect from TSM.
I think it's mostly the champion. You
don't
really have the wall jumping ability or the tunnel ability as like RekSai,
it's about getting the shard, and then you can do that stuff.
I think he wasn't prioritizing shards too. His style is more of just play safe, play on his side of the map.
It's very weird. I actually haven't seen this style from the Skarner before. Maybe I'm just behind the times, but like maybe right there, like you knew he was around there.
He just doesn't want to give the shrines away so they don't take the gold back.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, he had that one.
Been able to get a few back. I mean, they do invest a lot of vision here. TSM just up towards this top side as well, and now that the dual lanes have swapped up to the top, remember, no towers taken right here, so it's kind of gone into a very extended laning phase with the late swap.
Oh, this is really good, because they have priority to the top side, and it looks like Mikyx stayed too long, so they already have Bjergsen on the way. Like, look at that vision from Splyce. Splyce's vision is actually pretty bad, and that whole top side of TSM is theirs. That's free right there.
Yep, you're going to get that first tower, no problem. Even with the true shot, no problems at all for TSM, as they'll be able to secure the first turret gold, and it can't really be matched on the bottom, since even though Hauntzer had back to base, it's just Wunder there, and that gives a little extra gold infusion. So TSM, still fairly close on the game, but that helps them out. Looking ahead to what Trashy's able to get done here, he does take some vision down or take some camps out in the bottom side. But when we start getting into these team fights, because the towers start falling here, and then you start thinking nowhere really on the map is safe, in a skirmish situation, who do you really give it to out of these two junglers? Like, Trashy's still, like, pretty much everywhere right now.
Right now, because the QSS for Bjergsen, I feel like if there's a 2-on-2 that's mid-jungle, I feel like TSM win it. But it is rather close, just because the Tiamat has a lot of power in it.
Yeah, I think definitely Skarner outscales RekSai. His kit is just pretty, like, scales really well into the late game, and he has a suppression ability, which is hard to counter.
Yeah.
So, going forward, Skarner is just going to keep getting stronger than RekSai. Bjergsen is also going to outscale somewhat of Malz, just because once you get QSS, that's a lot of Malz's damage is gone. So you can't really do that.
Yeah, you see the difference in style there. Trashy's getting all the wards in.
And now Sven is starting to take these more and more. I don't know if it's just a stylistic shift for him, and he's just saying, like, all right, it's time. Like, even right there, if he had walked up, Trashy saw him earlier.
Yeah. Do you think it's just because the map's a little more open now? I mean, they don't have the tower on bottom side, but they know that a lot of people aren't there.
Yeah. I just feel like it's an underutilization. But like you were saying, maybe he doesn't want to give the gold back over. But I'm like, it's gold that you get, too, so I don't know. It seems like very selfless thing that Svenskeren's doing.
Maybe it's just trauma from scrims where he's taking the thing and then all of a sudden he's just destroyed.
That happens, actually.
Sometimes you develop habits.
And then the coach is behind him saying, why are you taking these when you have no team backup? And then he's never taken them again.
Like, and like I'm saying, it's pretty selfless because as soon as you see that, like the RekSai on the other team goes, oh, that bottom one got taken, let's go.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you don't even know if it's the Skarner necessarily if multiple people are missing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like what they're doing here, though, TSM. They're using Svenskeren to kind of, like, just be scary. Now, they're backing, obviously, off of this, but they got a bit of damage on the tower. Yeah, exactly. They just kind of send him out, and, you know, they have a little more movement speed out of combat with the Cloud Drake now, and they just kind of get in your face and say, okay, there's no way you're getting anywhere near us, otherwise I will ult you and drag you into your death. So I like what TSM was able to get done. It just wasn't enough to finish the tower there. As the curtain call comes in, it's going to tickle Trashy. He tries to block for Sencux.
Yeah. Always good to fire off all the shots now that it doesn't refund cooldown when you cancel it. And yeah, I'm actually surprised that Svenskeren's getting outpaced by Trashy in the jungle. Like the farm, usually Skarners, even against RekSais who have Tiamat, like they're both very good farmers, but the Skarner should be able to farm through the mid game a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I wonder how much they did practice this in scrims, though, because, you know, we've seen it only start to come out recently, and this is the first time we've seen Sven play it competitively. Maybe he's just not quite used to the champion yet.
Yeah, he's wanted to play it, though. Like, he actually had it in the remade game with
That's true.
Aurelion
Technically, that does count.
Yeah, so he's been wanting to play this. Just not impressed by it yet.
Well, it's early on in the tournament. All the same, TSM still very, very close in the gold game with Splyce right now, and that actually is a bit of a surprise. I kind of expected TSM to jump out to a, I don't know, not a flying start, but definitely more of a lead with the way Bjergsen was actually outpacing Sencux early on, and it seems like Trashy's actually kind of been doing double time.
I think just their top lane matchup is kind of in the Kennen's favor. It's really hard to pressure the ball lane map when Kennen TP is so much stronger. I think they did a good job because of how well they scaled in the game. And I think Svenskeren's doing a decent job. He's like applying his pressure well. Like he's going to the side lanes when they want to siege tower.
This is Wunder's probably going to decimate this fight if Svenskeren is a little bit late. But
he's going to wiggle right in there. Oh, and all of a sudden everyone runs away.
There were two.
All right. Wow.
Oh, we got the flash.
And he's going to follow. Here we go.
Don't bring him too close, though. Exactly.
Oh, man. Think Skarner does.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what you need
and
to do.
And they're right on Baron.
Go Baron.
Are they going to go for this? Okay, 21.5.
Oh, I think you do with a Cassiopeia with blue buff, and you know that Nami and Ezreal are bot side. Like, just go.
Is it safe, though, when you don't really have a lot of vision around the back of the pit? I mean, the RekSai ultimate's available, but, there's no tunnels
you had vision across your the entrances to the back side of Baron Pit. Like, you know that RekSai went off to the left, but you have a pink ward on your top side of mid. You have a ward that's right there, right above it, and then you have a pink ward in the pit. So, like, all the entrances that Trashy would have used to get back there have been covered.
I think they definitely should have done it, but
it's super risky.
Yeah,
and
here we go, though.
They just considered the risk. They're like,
I mean, Trashy went right in on that. They've stopped up Svenskeren, see if they can finish the job.
Yeah.
Not before the teleport completes, though.
Yeah, the risk is it takes too long, and then the Kennen comes back with TP and ulti.
Oh, man, when he died to the Voidlings, that didn't feel good. Wunder's down, though. Like, he teleported straight to death.
And one more.
Hey! Okay. TSM.
Yeah, why do the Baron
this
when
is
you're
start.
so much better in team fighting?
This is the start of it.
You got me there.
I think they value the risk, and they thought it would be safer just to take the safe route. And I agree. I think.
Oh, Kobbe.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could have been a little worse. But yeah, I mean, that was the explosive TSM fight.
Yeah, that got them back into even. Not entirely blown away by it, but I think that this is like this even here is a risky play because the fact that the Nami tidal wave comes through, it's 4-on-3 until Bjergsen gets there, so it's already actually a disadvantageous fight. The Hauntzer TP comes through, and then the equalizer is really good at the diagonal angle to actually have people figure out how much they're walking through. And right there, I actually just think you walk away if you're Splyce.
Yeah.
Like that was just really greedy because you know you have the re-engage. I understand that Wunder wants to get back in there, but since he blew his flash in the part where he got ganked, you can't even flash over that wall for a better ultimate. It's only on to Bjergsen at that point.
I don't like that flash in by both of them too. Like, why get greedy? You're ready to kill the Nami, just take it. Have your 2 flashes up for next fight. Because they literally flashed in for no extra kills.
This is Kennen ultimate not up yet.
This is really bad.
There is a Skarner ultimate too, so they're just going to back off it.
Yeah, you got to wait for that Kennen ultimate. It's very big.
It looks like Splyce are starting to learn to respect the Skarner a little bit more because he's kind of gotten rolling now and he can just basically delete somebody as long as he's around his team.
I think the Skarners kind of show his benefits here. Like, the Kennen's 2-4-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
up top.
Sencux just comboed him.
Why was DoubleLift there?
Farm.
All right.
Yeah.
But apart from that, TSM's not doing too bad right now. Again, it's like super close in gold. But the tempo keeps swinging like really, really heavily on these junglers.
I mean, most of the time, that's normally how the game plays out. Your jungler makes a play, it raises your tempo, and counter-react, the other jungler uses his ultimate. And whenever there's a Skarner, it's always going to be high tempo plays with him, because he just waits for his ulti and gets like a kill off it.
Yeah, every flash. Your flash should pretty much be on a cooldown early game. Like first 30 minutes of the game, you should just use it every single time.
Absolutely. Okay, so where should they be putting their focus right now?
Infernal Drake.
Okay, I was going to say mid lane maybe, but
you shove out
Infernal
mid.
is up.
You try to get control of this area right here. Do they have any advantages on TSM side? Not really right now. In terms of like summoner spells or ultis, I actually think that because everybody has no summoner spells, like both Kennen and Rumble become incredibly important. Nobody can flash at this moment on either team. So if you land a good Rumble ultimate or Kennen gets a good flank in, then yeah, the team fight's pretty much over at that point.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, like why flash in 2 flashes for a kill when you know objectives are coming up next? It's just really greedy, and I didn't think they would do something like that, so they just lose the dragon.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much a solo take there from Trashy as well. Like, gave him so much time.
I mean, token assist from Sencux while he was standing in the back of the pit, but it just seems so much safer, and Splyce had more options. Like, what should be TSM's game plan now, because they seem to be losing out on a lot of pressure? Minus the fact that they're pushing on mid.
So they have 2-item power spikes for themselves. I'm trying to figure out like what I would leverage here if I were them, because your game plan is pretty straightforward with Svenskeren, because what's your engage? Run straight at them. It's kind of telling. I would try to use DoubleLift and like pick people off. I think it's probably your best strategy right now, but they had a really good opportunity to do Baron earlier. Right, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you'll have to come back to me on that one.
Yeah, we'll keep that one stewing. I've actually got one for you, Inori, because you talked about the Runic Echoes earlier, and we've got a question on Twitter. At Feta Cheese is asking, can you explain more in depth? It's a great Twitter name.
Did he actually get Feta Cheese spelled correctly?
Well, with an underscore, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain more in depth on why you take Runic Echoes on Skarner?
Yeah, so pretty much, it has good stats for him. The 7% movement speed is like what you want. The MS helps you catch up. Also at 60 AP, you're scaling. Every ability on your kit has AP scaling. And then you have the extra AP damage, it's a flat damage. And it scales with AP, and on top of that, it returns mana, which is part of your kit. I think it synergizes really well. It reminds me of the old Udyr.
Oh,
just
God.
go the Runic Echo and just run at you build, and I kind of see
Zirene's having flashbacks.
Yeah.
I like it a lot, and I also turn into more, I go more AD afterwards. I go into Triforce and full tank right after that, and I just become the fastest man on the map.
It's kind of interesting.
It's a little Hussein Bolt running around the map. It's just so fun.
There's not a lot of junglers you can actually like think about like 3 different jungle items on or enchantments on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like
hybrid junglers are so rare.
Like Udyr could actually build all of them, and you'd be fine, all 4. Like, it's probably the most versatile one that jumps into my head. Like Skarner could probably build all 4 as well.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's kind of interesting. It really changes, you know, how you're actually able to play the champ. I mean, obviously this adds so much more to like your race car ability, how fast you can start clearing.
Yeah.
But it does kind of keep you a little squishier.
Yes.
I mean, but so does the warrior.
Yeah, the warrior and the Runic Echoes ones. I'm actually surprised that we see them in competitive play, just because of the fact that tankiness is so highly valued by most junglers, considering that there's no tank on this team at all on TSM, so he's going to be soaking a decent amount of damage as the frontliner, and he needs to be able to survive. Like, Svenskeren's job is not to kill anybody. His job is to get somebody to his team and have them kill him. Right? So that's why I personally don't like warrior so much, but...
Yeah, I definitely would have preferred more tank or either a Runic just for the ability to catch up. It has more than just flat AP bonus. When I look at just...
Oh, boy.
Biofrost has been kind of free this game. I'm just saying. Like,
oh, well, DoubleLift is kind of right behind him. I mean, Splyce have quite a lot of pick potential on their side because Trashy, you know, he knows exactly where he needs to be for the Tunnel Unbury. He hasn't even had to use Flash on it. I mean, this is so much on TSM's positioning. Do you think they kind of disrespected the Splyce team that started 0-2?
Well, it's like Mikyx there just threw out the bubble, and that was perfect. And now it looks like Bjergsen's looking for a flank. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to flank them. They don't think that they know where Bjergsen is, so they're just trying to make it so that they run all into Bjergsen on top of the equalizer. This is supposed to be the team comp right here.
Yeah, they're staying on the Baron. They're split focus right now. Bjergsen's going to kill Kobbe. The flash goes in, or the smite goes down, rather, and they manage to pick it up anyways. And Sven's down.
He needs
this
to kill the back
really
line
messy.
first. Bjergsen went into the silence.
Ay. Okay, so they took a few Barons off, but Splyce win that fight.
Yeah.
And
Splyce win
a
that
double
fight for
kill
sure.
on the Malzahar too?
Yeah, that was a 3 for 3 in the pit.
I really don't see how TSM is gonna pull out of this one.
Yeah, that's why it was like, how did they win? Like you were telling me, like what do they do next? It's so hard. Like for Splyce, I can tell you, you get picks and you run at them and you engage with the Nami whenever you want. And this is just like you have to come up with something really crazy. So Bjergsen just goes all in here on Kobbe, and I think that that's the right thing to do. Take him down, you slow down the DPS. Svenskeren flashed in, didn't smite, didn't make it. So he goes down, and right here, Bjergsen actually flashes into the silence, and that's what screws him right there, because he could have killed Sencux and Wunder, and probably turned on Trashy, and then that would have been the fight. So there's just a misplay there.
Like at this point, 8-1 Malzahar, there's so little you can do, especially when you're compromised on running into them. Malzahar excels when people are running into him, so you get into a really bad situation. And I'm kind of worried for TSM here because there's really so little outs for them. And I want to see how they play the fights from now on because this is really important for them.
Yeah, early game was really kind of strange. It seemed kind of uncharacteristic from TSM, and not just like Svenskeren. Like they put pressure on it, looked okay, but then all of a sudden they just weren't winning their lanes.
Yeah, like DoubleLift and Biofrost definitely got destroyed in that bottom lane. It's like 2 levels down still for DoubleLift, now 1, but I feel like they didn't take those opportunities and they're playing a little bit more scared, and it's a harder comp to execute on. But this is definitely good. This right here, if they start warding towards the Drake and setting up for that, having their backs and their power spikes, then that'll be the next step for TSM. You can't let this Baron really paralyze you, or else you give up free objectives. And that's where they want to fight. Like, don't get me wrong, you saw that last Baron team fight right there, where they threw down the equalizer, they threw down the grounded from Cassiopeia. It's like that's exactly what TSM want to do, is have those team fight situations, but they kept getting picked off before them.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Splyce has really been allowed to do, is the curtain call opens up to try and push back Sencux. Svenskeren couldn't get him here. He grabs him on the Impale, and there's really no one to deliver him to, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's got QSS now.
Yeah, he can outplay.
So,
or can
what is he doing?
Whoa! Oh!
Right,
He got outnumbered.
Yeah, he's donezo. And look at these. Look at the little guys. Oh.
That is a fed Malzahar.
Yeah, I mean, 8-1 and 2 Malzahar is definitely going to do that.
I mean, you don't really know how much damage those little voidlings do nipping at your heels,
They
right?
do so much. They actually do a ton of damage.
It's like a Zerg.
And they're super fast. You can't outrun those guys. He was even on a shard there. It's like, he's gone. And they get slowed, and you get slowed by Riley.
All right,
slow.
so if that kind of thing happens to you in a game, Inori, like this is like a solo queue game for argument's sake, like how tilting is that? How upsetting is it when you get that close to outplaying?
I'm already pressing enter/FF because I would want to give up at this point. And you're the fed mouse. That's a desperation play right there, and you just failed the desperation play.
Yeah.
So you really, like, your morale is really low right now. You don't know what your next play is because you really thought that was going to work, and when it doesn't work, you feel so hopeless.
Oh, that's rough.
That
Wunder does get caught here, so that's nice for TSM.
And then your hope is Wunder getting caught, and it just keeps happening.
But that's what I was talking about as well. Like, DoubleLift with the W, if he's getting those picks, like that was a little thing that, when you asked me at first, I was kind of like fumbling around, like I'm trying to search through what they can do. It's like picking people with the Jhin is always a viable option. But it's just knowing when they're out of position, when to get it. They should get a Mountain Drake off of this if they all go there, but...
Let's Splyce beat him to it.
Yeah.
Malzahar is really scary, and...
Yeah, but Sven's still pretty scary as well.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't think Svenskeren
Pull
played
it
that
out.
early game well, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he didn't really capitalize on his R. Like, I don't think he used it till level 8, which is like not how you should play it out. He didn't use the shrines well, and like there's so many. He didn't seem like he knew Skarner really that well, which is kind of surprising because he picked it so fast. I thought he was like so confident.
And it wasn't the first time. And they do get the dragon, but you know that helps them if they want to knock down other objectives. It seems like they're kind of hanging on though. I mean, with the number of towers that they have right now, there's still one standing down in the bottom lane.
Yeah,
Where do you really focus your vision at this point? I mean, when you have Splyce knocking on your door, putting wards in your jungle, it seems like the only option is to try and like find a flank pick.
I feel like you go bottom now. You try to get that tier 1. Baron's not on the field. You avoid a lot of the vision that Splyce has already put down on your top side, so you force them to start boarding up that bottom side and get rid of that vision in the top. I think that's where you would want to put pressure right now if you're TSM, just because it's the easiest gold for you to acquire on the map.
Yeah, I think you focus your jungle and like try to rotate it to falling tower if you can.
Yeah.
Right now, I think they have to kind of sit back and wait for Splyce to make the mistake. I their comp relies on like this pick-oriented thing.
Oh,
You
they're
just wait
looking
for
for a
them.
flat.
They got
Oh, wait,
Mikyx.
never mind. Yeah, Mikyx.
Okay.
Oh, what?
I don't
you don't
know
have to
if-
do that.
yeah.
What?
I mean, this seems like
What?
they're just kind of desperate to get anything, and now you don't have that ultimate. It's on cooldown, and I mean, even though it's 4v5, like Splyce don't have to fear that right now.
But
they are losing out on tower pressure though. You see where everyone was top and bot, they just had to haste recall.
But like he even had him with the E. You auto attack him there. Like that was weird. Like
Yeah.
he hit him with his E. All you have to do after the E is auto attack, and it's a stun. That's the kill right there. You don't have to use Impale, and that could have been you flash impaling somebody else on the team if they had stayed.
I think he was worried he was out of the ground and he was just gonna flash away.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. You should have just kept it. Like it's really important ability. If he flashed away, I'm pretty sure Bjergsen could have killed him too.
Yeah.
Oh, they are
And like
running
he
for
coulda
Sencux
had
right
it here
now.
too.
Yeah, he would have had the
And
kill
now,
on this.
Now you go. Yeah.
I mean, they still do,
Listen,
but
good,
okay.
Good.
All right.
Yeah, and they don't have to use any summoner spells there except for the Ghost from Bjergsen, and they get both from Sencux. Like, that's really good. Like, TSM should be using DoubleLift's ultimate like that.
I think Splyce is really getting caught way too often here.
Yeah.
Their vision control is really just garbage, to be honest. You shouldn't be getting caught like this, especially when you have the tempo lead. They really need to control vision a lot better, and like TSM's doing a good job of making picks, getting pinks out, and like that's something they improved a lot on since the first game. So listening to Reddit really helped them
Dank
out.
memes. Yeah, DoubleLift with
You
the
can take
open
sources
here is
from
really
anywhere.
good.
Like this one is like,
Big karma speed boost too.
you know they're in the area and he's getting greedy to
Yeah.
do the Gromp. It's like kind of disrespectful to TSM.
It's good that they put all this vision around here. I mean, it's gone now, but like what they had up in the top side, like at the time they went for this dive, and that seems like what you want to do is just make sure you have it lit up like a Christmas tree, and then you just are able to find whenever someone is stepping over that threshold.
Yeah, and they're in kind of awkward places too. Like there's that ward that's right over this left side of this wall here. So you don't usually find that ward. It's like right there tucked away. It's like that one, that's one you don't see, but it's one that you will see everybody who goes into those wolves. And it's a really good ward.
I think Kennen's looking for a TP play here. You see him waiting for home guards.
Yeah.
Might
Now
look for it
you have
right
to get
now.
boosted through.
He's right behind.
Who you pulling?
Oh,
Mickey?
man.
All right, support.
Well, they can delete him pretty quickly. DoubleLift's got the kill on that, and then they grab Trashy, but Bjergsen's going to have to flash away. Trashy's following him. And Wunder gets a 3-man stun on the Maelstrom. I mean, these fights are just so even right now, but it's going to trend the other direction. Trashy was tanking for
Bjergsen
days.
can't walk forward anymore. And this is actually,
wait,
yeah,
no,
he's
here
gonna
we
kill
go.
them all. He's going to kill them all if he can get this hit.
Wait,
What? Okay.
All right.
I think he was trying
Wunder's
to
a
curve
ninja.
that third
I
one
tried to
there.
curve that last one.
Trying to shoot it out and
Alright.
curve it because that was really off. I think it was just like, hey, let me get the Raptor cap. Oh, there's 50 gold, and then let me go for the kill.
That's
Oh, I
true.
missed.
Yeah, wanted style.
Yeah.
Curve that one. Yeah, Wunder can't really do too much here. I
He's
think.
way too low.
Like, but it is Baron, and Baron will always make it really risky to do. But TSM are definitely back in this now, and I think what the big part is they started playing their composition with the speed ups. Grounded comes out, doesn't matter, but Mickey, he's holding his flash too long. Like you could tell that he definitely wanted to get Mickey there. Trashy, it's all right if he gets ulted because he's just gonna get pulled into the team, and it's like thanks for the gap closer.
I like how Svenskeren just flashes in there. And
Yeah.
Like, oh, kill me, kill
Oh,
me.
kill-
And then Kennen just kills him. instantly.
I volunteers tribute.
I really like the target prioritization, though, from TSM. Like, once they grabbed Mickey and they were able to just completely delete him, it seemed like Trashy just wasn't on the same page. He hesitated for a second, then he looked to chase down Bjergsen. Like, it looks like he greeted.
I think he wanted to kill Bjergsen. Bjergsen got super low, but you have to deal with the front line at that point, and it was split focus. Because the ultimate from Rumble came down on top of 3 people, and Trashy went forward, and the rest of his team went backward because they couldn't go forward. And that's when Kennen came in. So it was a completely divided fight, and I think that TSM played it correctly, but I do think that Splyce misplayed there.
Wait, why does this Kennen not have that
Yeah.
hourglass?
I
What?
don't know.
What is he doing?
He
This
doesn't
guy's
have hourglass.
Actually, like,
And
what is going on? Like, this Rumble buys 2.5 more seconds than you because you don't have one item.
Don't ask me, man. Like, this game's already gone weird. Like, Splyce are usually good in the late game and bad in the early game, so this is kind of like topsy-turvy.
You know what item I really like on Kennen is Ratha's Crystal Scepter. Because you hit him with a shuriken, you're going to hit your W, and then the cooldown on W is shorter than the actual duration of the stacks, so you will guarantee you can chase them down, and it's honestly super good. But the item build here, he even went for Void Staff second. Void Staff was his second item.
Yeah.
He didn't go Abyssal Scepter second, even though it's double AP.
I really just don't think he needs the extra damage. Like, you're 264. Like, you're kill priority isn't as much as you think, and
Death cap!
you need defensive when you're behind. And this whole fight, like, it could have gone the other way if Kennen bought 5.5 more seconds in the team fight, but when you're just instantly dying, like, I think this is kind of selfish build path he's taking. He should think more of the team, and it's just really hurting his team fight ability.
Yeah, they're starting to find themselves in really bad positions. Nice split on it, but they can't find quite enough damage. DoubleLift's half health, but they do save their turret, and they push off the wave. So Trashy was there a little bit later. They couldn't find any knockups, but they're pinging on Wunder. They know where he is.
Yeah, Wunder doesn't have flash, so no way to ulti flash and get in there.
Yeah.
It's always risky too. Like the reason he's 2 and 6 is because he doesn't have hourglass as well for some of these.
Yeah. So as they start up the Elder Drake, looks like they shouldn't have too much trouble getting this, but Splyce are going to try to contest this here.
Yeah, you got to pull it out. And you already have a half HP AD carry, so I don't know how good this actually is for TSM.
Miasma's making life hard for them right now.
They're just looking for a pick.
There's a curtain call. He's going to have Proto Belt away, but I don't know. This is going to come down to a smite fight.
Try to hit Wunder with this one.
I think you just rush in soon. When
Trashy is right there. Trashy's literally right there. You are risking this so hard.
Oh, wow. Okay, they got away with it, but jeez.
I still think that was
unnecessary.
Good thing Svenskeren can still hit smite. Speaking of Svenskeren, by the way, Zirene, I got another one for you from I am Joe Salama. As at LoL Zirene, he says he plays a lot of Skarner. What does he think Skarner's hardest matchups are?
Ooh. So, some of Skarner's hardest matchups are things like, I would think, like Nidalee, because all she does is go into your jungle and like try to farm things faster than you, and then just leave.
So you can never get there.
Also, Elise is really annoying too because she can repel when you're running close, and she can also just hit you with a cocoon to the face. So, I think those are some of his harder matchups that are in the meta.
So this is why Skarner's stock pretty much rises like through the roof when you ban a lot of that stuff out, the S tier junglers.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good to know. So 41 minutes and
also just another thing is I think Skarner isn't always shut down by enemy jungle. I think he's shut down by like enemy peel. Like an Alistar, it's really hard to play against, and Nami is actually kind of difficult to play against this Skarner, but they're finding ways around it because Mikyx is having to use his wave to interrupt DoubleLift's ultimate. So mostly it's just the team composition you have to take into account. It's kind of like Kennen isn't really countered by top laners. He's countered by Alistar, Lee Sin, Tristana,
and by not
building
the fight.
Right? Exactly. You can counter yourself too. He's on his way to it though.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Mikyx though, like he has really had a hard time like pressing his summoner spells. Like I don't think I've seen him use flash in the last like 7 or 8 minutes. And he's been caught a bunch of times.
Yeah, twice.
I think for the Kennen, I should update my Kennen build hourglass less item check, because you know that's probably best for last, right? But honestly,
he's working on it now.
I'm still so disappointed he's not building it like second or third. Yeah. Like I look at the really good Kennen Smeb impact and I see hourglass third or second always, and I'm like thinking, why do you delay this build item so late when it's the core build?
Yeah, and I was talking about how you get enough CDR that your W is up and it's shorter. Sorry, it's a shorter cooldown than the duration of the actual stacks. But you need CDR to do that. So you get Proto Belt, you get Abyssal Scepter. Zhonya's already has CDR on it. So building it second or third helps you out so much. Even like survivability with your escape of your E, you have your ultimate more readily available, more frequently. Like it's just all around a really good item to build on Kennen. And that's one of the reasons that Kennen is so good. Proto Belt helps now with your wave clear problem that you used to have. And there's so much CDR that sure you're ult reliant, but all of these new items came up like Abyssal Scepter, Zhonya's, they did not have CDR before and Proto Belt didn't exist. So now there's like 30 CDR just thrown into Kennen's kit, which you didn't have access to previously.
Yeah, so he'll eventually get access to the Zhonya's, but obviously it seems like one of those little too late situations as TSM's kind of marching down the door. You know, we talked about the TSM, how they get back in the game, well, they clearly executed on that. Let's flip this one on its head now. Like, how does Splyce actually manage to push TSM back? They are, like, up against their own base at this point.
I actually think it's literally just wait for that hourglass build. Like, you need it. It's so core. Like, I don't see them winning the fight without it. And you still have a really fed Malzahar, so don't worry about, like, your damage output. Just avoid the Jhin ulti and wait for them to make a mistake. Whenever you're behind, it's always a waiting game. Like, let them make that mistake. You capitalize on that advantage. I think you just take, like, the defensive route. Don't force anything like this. Just kind of wait for that Kennen to get that power spike. And then you look for that one mistake they make where, like, Smeb waited for the the other team to make that mistake, and he got the 5-man Kennen ulti. You just have to wait for those opportunities. And
there we go.
There you go.
So Wunder's in, true shot. Yeah, but Wunder's just going to get
hey,
melted.
no hourglass. Look what happens.
Man.
If he had Zonia's
and now Sencux is grabbed.
Would have been a bit different.
Yeah, that's...
He just got got.
That might even be game right there.
Yeah, Mikyx can't really hand it. They don't need to finish up the curtain call. TSM are just running through this one right now, and like it took 45 minutes, and they had to come back from it. But Splyce, few poor decisions.
I still think this game is on Wunder. Like, you're a professional player. I really think itemization is a huge part of like your game knowledge and your understanding. Like,
I think the European teams actually have been struggling with that. Like, Wunder in this game, Perks previously when he was just building bits of everything and just kind of panicked about that. Yeah, this looks like it's game here. And we talked about jungle, like Trashy, 1-1 and 10. Like, this guy is just trying to drag his team through the game. I do actually want to talk about itemization again, because look at Kobbe's build. Like, he doesn't have Iceborne Gauntlet for a Skarner, a Cassiopeia. Like, 100% you should be building that item. I understand that he wanted to try and snowball.
And just getting messy.
And blow them up, but...
All right, they're going to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Itemization is so crucial, and EU teams seem to lack in comparison.
EU item build.
Well, we can only hope they'll learn. So TSM, they started out and fell pretty far behind, but they were able to claw back into that one, and Splyce gave up the ghost at the end of it all.
I think Trashy actually played better than Svenskeren in this game a lot. He was on the losing team, but he was more impactful than Svenskeren was. I think TSM got carried Svenskeren got carried kind of hard, but Trashy played really well.
Yeah, I also think Mikyx in that mid game getting caught twice without using a summoner spell kind of handed Svenskeren some plays, whereas Trashy had to dig a little bit deeper for them. And Wunder not having Hourglass when he dove the backline didn't buy enough time. Like, it's so crucial that you have that item and you can buy your team time, because that's what the game is all about in team fights, is actually just buying enough time that your AD carry deals enough damage, that you're able to zone somebody off. Like, people are like, hey, I'm 1v3ing back here. Have you killed Bjergsen yet? Give your team some room. Give them the space they need. And yeah, they definitely can't be too happy with that performance there.
But a win is a win. And, you know, it comes back to something we said yesterday about it used to be all about the junglers trying to affect the lanes, right? But now it's definitely more on the lanes to try and help out the jungler, get them ahead. And Sven kind of needed it for a while, but his team overall played a lot better, even if his own individual performance wasn't quite at the same level Trashy was. And at one point, Trashy's just like, I can't keep these guys on my back.
Yeah, RekSai falls off pretty hard. Like,
yeah, and that was also the Skarner, you know, power was just kind of ridiculous, because you talked about race car. I mean, that guy was driving like 120 miles per hour at some of the members of Splyce.
Yeah, I think Skarner definitely outscales really hard. I think Trashy did really well. I think the problem was his team was TSM had better laners. They understood how to play their roles much more efficiently. They knew something called Hourglass, and that helped them a lot. And I just think, if I were to compare the two junglers, I think Trashy did a hell of a job with what resources he had. He snowballed the effective lanes. He outpaced Skarner so well. They could have had this game. It was a point where I was like, Splyce has won this game. And it's kind of disappointing that that's the outcome, but I think Trashy just plays so well, and Svenskeren still needs a lot to work on for his Skarner to work against really top teams.
Yeah, I feel like if you play that against any other team in this group, you probably lose the game, because overall it was just not very effective early, and that's a lot of where the jungler's impact is that early game. You saw DoubleLift and Biofrost were getting bodied in the bottom lane. They had a losing matchup top lane.
And they just kept getting caught.
And it's something where, like, if your jungler is that Skarner and doesn't have the pressure that he needs, then you will flat out just lose that game with that type of gold deficit.
Yeah, so TSM definitely going to wipe a bit of sweat off after that one. So they managed to pick it right back up, and Splyce has got a lot to learn. But thanks for joining us, guys, on this Jungle Focus cast. In just a few minutes, Froggen's going to be back, and Inori is going to remain with us for your opportunity to see the game through the eyes of Uzi and Mata. We're going to turn off the lights and track RNG's bottom lane through the fog of war in our final match of the day.